you see that? Your face is all like, oh. Do not obey. Woo. Stay woke. Peace. What's up, guys? It's me, Do Not Obey. Happy MF and Halloween, and let's get into a movie review. Now, this movie is called Last Girl Standing. I watched it like a week ago. I'm glad I took notes because let's get into the movie. Alright, so now it starts with a girl running through the woods. Now, her name is Cameron. Now, she's running from like this deer horn killer, okay? Like, it's just a lot of action. She's running. It's at night. It's spooky, whatever, right? Now, she finds her friend, or they kind of run into each other, have a little conversation. He's DOA, okay? Off the gate. Gone. Now, she outwits the killer, okay? And she ends up walking out of the woods, you know, looking like a hot mess. You could tell she done been through something. And she runs into, well, kind of, this guy rides upon her in a truck. And he finds her, and she's the only one left. It's straight action from the beginning. This is why I like movies like this, because as soon as you turn it on, you start it, after whatever, boom, girl running, DOAs, bodies, people screaming, we're in there. That's all I gotta say, right? Now, fast forward, it's 3 years later. Now, we can still see that she has signs now of her past, probably PTSD, trauma, you could imagine. But you can see it in her. Now, it also shows her working at a laundry service, a laundry cleaning service. Now, this is where the movie slows down a little bit, and we get to know, like, how she moves throughout her day, right? So, like I said, once again, it's nothing too exciting, but I did put that we do see flashes now of her DOA friends, okay? The ones that were gone in the first one, right? And she's trying to help them. And it's like when she has these dreams, it's like she's back there in the woods. She's trying to help them. And she, no matter what, there's never a positive outcome, like at all. Now, within working at the laundry service, she meets a new co-worker. His name is Nick. Now, he works at the register. But she also seems distant with him as well with everybody that's there. Like, you can just tell she just comes to work, does her thing, goes. Like, but people like her. You can tell that people like her. She does come off a little strange. Nobody knows now what she's went through. Nobody knows anything about her. You can just tell, like, she's a nice person. Like, they don't hate her or nothing. So, one night, Cameron, she ends up staying late. There's nobody there. She's helping her boss. There was, like, a shirt that was brought in, and he was the only one that really could probably clean it the right way. He had something to do. He asked her. She didn't want to agree to it, but he asked her right to stay, so she stays. And this is when we start to see like weird shit, okay? And she freaks out, right? Now, like, she sees like the killer like chasing her. It's weird. Like, it's really, really, really weird, because what I don't understand is, like, this is where it had got me, because, and these are going to be spoilers if you haven't seen this, so because I don't know how to catch myself sometimes. So I thought Nick was the killer, because the way he came off, he was just, to me, I don't know, he just tried to befriend her way too much, like, but throughout the movie you can see that he actually really likes her, right? But anyway, so Nick ends up being there. Like, she's running to the door, right? And she's freaking out trying to get her key in the door. It's a glass door, and Nick's on the other side of the door, like, you know. So I'm thinking, like, was that him running like around the building? But it wasn't. So yeah, so the cops come, they do a check, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing there. So the cops tell her, I don't think you need to be alone tonight. And, like, her apartment's, like, really not unpacked. And if it is, it's really not much stuff, but there's still boxes, so it's weird. It's like she's kind of not living. She's just there. You know what I mean? So she ends up going with Nick. Nick gives her a ride. And Nick takes her back to his house, and he has roommates, and they're all close friends. And they really seem cool to me, honestly. Now, later on, now, we're back at work, okay? This is the next evening. She ends up spending the night there. They have some drinks and stuff. And you can see that she's looking at them like how I guess her friends used to be, the ones that, you know, were killed by the person, you know, the deer-horned murderer guy. So like I said, the next day, she gets up the next morning. Nick's not around, so this other girl takes her back home. So now she's back at work, right? She's working. I don't know how late it is, whatever. She's somewhere off by herself, and she finds this little wooden handcrafted symbol hanging from this thread. And she seems to recognize it. And then she kind of sees the killer. It's weird. Like I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know, like, if... Okay, I'll wait before I say that. I'm just going to wait. Now, it says Nick and her grow closer along with his friends, and that is true. They grow very, very close throughout the movie. Now, she's not really hanging out with them, but she's made connections with them. Later on, there is one girl that's a snobby Bobby, but it's because she likes Nick. But anyway, so with her getting close to them, and she's starting to see the killer more around her job, like at her house, like she's starting to like chase the killer out. Like, she's not scared. She's trying to kill the mofo, right? She believes that the killer is starting to stalk her or Nick and his friends because she really thinks it's about her being the last one standing, or last one standing, last one left, and it's like, get back. You know what I mean? I don't know. So Cameron, the girl, starts looking for clues. Now, late at Nick's house, like, she ends up like getting in Nick's house. It's like it cuts to this scene where it's dark. You can hear them in there. They're having a good time, and she's out like creeping in the bushes on some weird like stalker shit herself, right? And she ends up seeing like this skinned animal hanging from a tree. Now, this is what you will find out through the movie is what a symbol of what the killer does to mark his prey. Now, after finding the little, it's like a dead deer, I believe, a doe, hanging from the tree, she follows Nick and his friends out. Like, she's like behind them. I think they go to like this bar. It's like literally like down a block from wherever they live, right? So she's like following behind them. Now, they have no idea. Now, Cameron's in the bar. They're somewhere off in the bar, and she's like looking around and stuff. And she finally gets caught. Well, kind of gets surprised, I guess, in a sense, by the girl that ended up bringing her home the next morning, one of Nick's roommates. And they're really close, and she's really nice to Cameron, and they end up getting really close. Haven't written her name down yet. I cannot remember her name, but it's somewhere in here. So she ends up taking Cameron over. They start playing pool, and this is when a small confrontation happens with one of Nick's friends that we find out, like I said, likes Nick. The girl tells her, like, she's only acting like that because she has a thing for Nick, you know. Girls, you know how that is. So Cameron ends up going bathroom with one of Nick's friends. Now, this is where Cameron also spots the killer again off in the distance in the bar. And it looks like the killer's going for either Nick, I believe. I cannot remember, but I'm glad I took notes. So she gives chase, right, through the bar. Like, it's a club bar, so it's like people dance. It's crowded as hell. This this girl is acting nuts. You know what I mean? Like, she's just running through a crowd of people. She runs up and sees Nick, sees the killer, you know, and out of nowhere, she just starts bottle, boom, on the head, beating the hell out of a random guy. It was not the killer, guys, at all. So Cameron is escorted out by Nick and some of the cool friends, not the little mean little girl. And the other ones fall outside, right? So they're all outside of the bar. Now, while outside, Cameron explains that they are all not safe. And this is when I believe that they all start distancing themselves from Cameron, because she's coming off very crazy as hell. Just saying, like, very, very crazy as hell. So they get back at Nick's house, and Cameron tries to show them where the skinned deer was hanging from the rope. But, of course, it's gone. And on top of that, they're telling her where the rope that used to be there holds a ball, you know, that some type of kickball game. I forgot what it's called. And the neighbor's dog, they explain to her, comes through sometimes. And it takes the ball, and the string sometimes goes with it. So my thing right then and there, I started thinking, was the deer ever really there? You know what I mean? Like, this is when your mind starts thinking, like, was the deer even there in the first place? You know what I mean? There's no blood. There's nothing around. But we'll find out. Okay, now, Cameron gets a ride home from Danielle, Nick's friend. Now, Danielle is the girl that I was talking about earlier. I wish I would have wrote her name down earlier, but this is Danielle. This is the Danielle that was nice to her. This is the Danielle that gave her a ride home the next morning when she first met them. This is the Danielle that kind of stopped the confrontation and she walked to the bathroom with them, well, with her, before she found or thought she seen the killer, which wasn't the killer, and then they got escorted out, and then blah blah blah. She, shit wasn't there. Boom. So Danielle gives her a ride home. This is at night. Danielle ends up coming inside of Cameron's apartment. Now, while Cameron's in the bathroom, Danielle is obviously going through Cameron's stuff because Cameron comes out and you don't see Danielle anywhere. But in this one room that Cameron walks to, you can see the box. And I think she pulls the box out a couple times in the movie. But it has all, like, the murders, just everything that happened, right? Like, everything that happened. So Danielle ends up hearing or telling Cameron that she heard about, this horrific thing that she went through back in high school. And she still seems not to really believe Cameron that the murderer or the killer, whatever, the Deerhorn person, demon, whatever entity is still around, right? But she still supports Cameron, and Cameron's going on and on. There's like a scene where, she's just really trying to tell her, and she's just sitting there just letting her vent, basically. So after she vents, Danielle, I don't know why I want to call this girl Danielle offers to take Cameron back to where she last had contact with the Deerhorn killer, right? So, like I said, they arrive and they pull up to a wooden cross. It's like literally in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. Now, on top of that, Danielle actually has to pump Cameron up. So Cameron decides to walk over there. She's looking at the cross. Nothing too much really happens. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Cameron decides to go back to her car. She has a shovel and this bag of, like, digging up people's stuff. And she starts to dig up the killer. Now, while Danielle is standing there looking at Cameron, because Cameron, like I said, is walking back with these shovels and stuff, Danielle's not like, oh, yay, let's dig him up. She slowly agrees to help. So they begin to dig, and they dig. The sun's going down at this point, and then they boom, as the sun's down, it's dark as hell, they hit the box. They hit the coffin, whatever, right? So in the shadows of the car, the headlights, it's spooky, they begin to open up the casket. Now, Cameron opens up the box, and she sees the killer in his grave. She begins to cry, and she's basically coming to the realization that maybe she's crazy, maybe there's not a killer anymore because he's right here decaying, DOA, in the ground, just looking like Halloween, like a cool prop, but too real of a prop, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. So Cameron's not satisfied. She decides to light the grave on fire. The grave goes up in flames. Fast forward, they are back at Cameron's house, okay? Now, Cameron seems to be reborn, guys. She seems upbeat. Her and Danielle shower. They put on makeup, baby. They get swagged out. They dress up. And they all meet up with Nick and his friends at Nick's house, back at their house, at Danielle's house, right? Now, everyone is there, and it's like a small party as usual, like a small get-together, but it's like one guy that has never been there before that we see that comes into the scene, right? So while talking to Nick, Cameron is approached, like I said, by this bald-headed dude, and he's wearing glasses. Now, he seems to know Nick and everyone else, and he introduces himself to Cameron, and to me, he comes off very weird. I really thought that this was the killer. It wasn't. Alright, so after the bald-head guy, he, like, comes up, and, he talks to her a little bit. Like I said, he comes off weird. Nick and Cameron end up leaving the group to spend some alone time. Now, they've been through a lot through this movie. He likes her crazy ass, and she's trying to get her boo. Okay, she's trying to get her boo back. Now, and to me, there's so many horror movie rules that have been broken in this movie, and this one just popped out, like basically just leaving to go, because those that go do that always end up going bye-bye. They're chilling, start making out, make out, they go to the couch, nobody's around. Out of nowhere, Nick gets a knife through the back to the front, Jason style, Crystal Lake. She screams, jumps up, horrified it's the deer horn killer. So Cameron ends up finding something to help, I guess, try to save Nick, but it's over because he is gone. She jumps on top of the killer, and she is beating the killer to death. Like, she kills the killer, right? Cameron's friend walks in because she's looking for, you know, them. And it's not Danielle. It's another, like, cool chick. She's like a hippie chick. She's really just mellow, laid back. Really cool. Had no issues with Cameron. Really didn't. She walks in and she sees Cameron on top of Nick's dead body. This is where I was like, I like the movie, but this is where I'm thinking now, because it's been a week since I watched it and I've had time to kind of ponder on it. And I'm like, I'm kind of mad in a sense, but then I kind of knew that she was the one having hallucinations. I thought it could have been like a copycat, but she's the killer. She's been the person doing it to herself this whole time after she went through this traumatic experience. Now, she did go through it. She didn't kill her friends. But these group of friends, girl, ran into the wrong female, period. Befriended the wrong person. They should have just left the bitch alone. So, Nick's friend, DOA Nick, is now gone. Old girl sees Cameron on top of him. Cameron DOA's that friend that sees Nick. And then from there, it's one by one. She starts taking them out. One by one. Okay? One by one. And then, the only two people that are left is Danielle, that was really close to Nick. And she was really close to Cameron. Right? And they end up battling it out. It's a good battle scene to me. It's really good. I do like the ending. I like the beginning and the ending. It's kind of middle. It's kind of slow. Get into the middle. But then within the middle, it does pick up. But I'm just mad because it's her. Ugh. Anyway, so they battle it out, and Danielle looks like she's about to get DOA. And out of nowhere, because Danielle actually had her phone, and she was trying to call the cops. They end up, I guess, tracking the phone. But she ends up getting saved by a cop, and that's how it ends. But I was just like, why? Like, it was her. It was Cameron the whole effing time. Danielle went through all of this ish, and Cameron wiped out their whole clan in one night. So, if you want to go see the last, what is it called? The Last Girl Standing. She was the last girl standing, but in this one, Danielle is now the last girl standing. And I'm wondering if it was, was it a possession? Could it have been like some type of negative demon or energy or curse that was passed along, and once you're killed, it goes into the person that killed you because you're the last one standing? Because what, are we going to have a part 2? I don't know. But this was on Vudu. And if you guys want to see it, like I said, I hope you enjoy it. If you do, hope you enjoyed the review. Happy Halloween. Peace out. I'm out.